Hi, nice to meet you, everybody. So I'm Hubert. I am from the L2BEAT team. So the team that is building L2BEAT.com, a website where you can basically get all of the data that you need about every single L2 out there and easily compare them on the metrics like TVL, activity, security, decentralization, and so on, so on. So without further ado, I would like to basically talk a bit about these L2s that everybody seems to talk nowadays. Everybody wants to launch their own L2 for like one reason or another. So what exactly are L2s? So as you know, probably the transactions on Ethereum cost a lot when there is a huge spike in activity. And we are not yet capable of scaling Ethereum on L1 itself. So what we came up with is to basically build layer 2s. So this is like the layer 2s are technical solutions aimed to scale the base layer in a trust minimized way. What does it usually mean is that there is like a second blockchain that is somehow connected to the L1 itself. So like, for example, it posts the state of all of the addresses and their balances at, let's say, at the end of the day or whatever on Ethereum. So when it goes down, in theory, you should be able to basically rebuild the whole L2 using only Ethereum. That basically like shutting down Ethereum is really, really hard. So that's how, for example, rollups work. There are like light L2s as well that have like more trust assumptions, but like L2BEAT strongly advises, like basically focuses on the rollups. So right now we have like around 80 active layer 2 projects, so like a lot. Like 3 years ago it was like only a couple. And there is like almost 100 upcoming ones. So as you can see, this is like basically the very hot topic right now. So there is no official L2 by the Ethereum team. We are all extending the Ethereum ecosystem together. So there are like a lot of teams like from every single country across the world, and they have all the different focuses. So some of them are building alternative VMs to not just use EVM. Some of them are L1s that now are migrating to L2 to get more users, liquidity, devs. Like there are like some new approaches like based rollups that use the Ethereum nodes themselves to process the transaction. There are like L2s by big leading exchanges like Coinbase, soon by others like Kraken, for example. And there are like, for example, L2s by Zerion or WorldCoin that are basically like part of their wallet. So like basically all of the transactions in the wallet happens on their own L2s. So there are like there are a couple of categories of L2s. There are Optimiums. So basically they use fraud proofs and off-chain data. So basically what it means is that you still have like this 7-day waiting period for the proofs because, you know, fraud proofs. Those are the same fraud proofs are in, like, for example, optimistic rollups. But the data, the state of the L2 itself is hosted somewhere else, not on Ethereum. So this is like basically making you need to trust the team behind the L2 a bit more, because if they will be gone, the state will be gone probably as well. So the most known Optimiums right now is Mantle by Bybit Exchange, Manta, one of the sponsors of this conference, Metis, for example, and Gravity by Galaxy team. Then we have Validiums, so basically the ones that are using validity proofs, and they do the same stuff with the state as Optimiums. And those are mostly right now StarkEx exchanges, so pretty old technology, like Apex, and Polygon CDK and ZK Stacks projects with custom DA solutions. So for example, Astar or Kronos that use those stacks, but at the same time post the data to Celestia. Another group is optimistic rollups. So basically you are able to withdraw permissionlessly using only Ethereum from them, knowing the state on the L1, but you have this 7-day waiting period if you want to do this withdrawal. Most known optimistic rollups are, of course, Optimis and Arbitrum, but also we consider all of the like ZK rollups that are not have the ZK part ready yet as optimistic ones. So this is like, for example, Taiko and Zirkut. And the last one that is called an endgame by many people in like the L2 space are ZK rollups. So basically, you combine the validity proof with on-chain data, and you are like basically when you post the state, you are validating every block, which is like a bit more expensive, but also like a lot more secure, and allows you to withdraw in like for example, in case of ZK Sync, in 21 hours instead of waiting like the whole the week. Like the end game is to basically be able to withdraw in a matter of seconds. So the most known ZK rollups right now is Scroll, ZK Sync, Starknet, and Linea by consensus. Okay, so as I said, like we are mostly focused on rollups because we believe they are like the most trust minimized solutions out there. We have two types of them, as I already mentioned, ZK rollups and optimistic rollups. ZK rollups are like pessimistic rollups, so we are validating every single block that is that the data is posted on L1. And optimistic rollups, we basically don't verify if the state that they are posting is correct every single time. We just leave like the like a special time window to basically have like everybody be able to challenge the state and say that, for example, something posted on L1 is actually not true. So optimistic rollups are actually leading the market right now. So Arbitrum itself has like 40% of the whole market share. Then we have a different approach by Optimism that started like allowing others building with their tech from the very young period of its existence. So right now, top 3 OP stacks actually account to like 30% of the whole market, so the same as Arbitrum actually. And basically that's thanks to Base, of course, right? So an L2 solution by the Coinbase team. The TVL is probably a bit outdated because ETH is a bit down right now, but still is like they secure pretty considerable amount of money. And then we have ZK rollups. So ZK rollups hold only like around 11% of the whole market right now. So that's, as you can see, this is a lot less. So I think there's for sure room to grow here. But the question is, will they actually, like, will those ZK rollups actually grow? Or will the optimistic rollups transition using the tech like Succinct and others to become like ZK by themselves, and they will basically like retain their current community? So why should I launch my own rollup? Is to basically, one simple answer, get the sequencer fees. So like you need to pay for every single transaction that happens on chain. And usually with those systems, you are retaining around 90% of all of those fees, while you need to pay like 10% to save the state somewhere, either on Ethereum or any other DA. Yeah, and why choose like Ethereum for your rollup in particular? It's because, like, in my honest opinion, the Ethereum is the most secure blockchain right now, thanks to its proof of stake. Like basically, its security is just a lot harder to crack, and it's also its security system is a lot more sustainable compared to, for example, stuff like proof of work by Bitcoin. So like deploying a rollup was pretty hard back in the day. So like when L2BEAT started 3 years ago, there was only a couple of teams working on them. But right now, after so many years, you basically have like a lot of out-of-the-box stacks that you can use. So like Arbitrum Orbit, OP Stack, Starknet, Polygon CDK, ZK Sync, Elastic Chain. And for like basically deploying them, you don't need to do it by yourself anymore, but there are also like companies that are like basically focused on doing only that. So the, like for example, Caldera can do it on alt layer. You can just come to them and they will like basically take care of everything for you. But you still can do it by yourself, of course, if you want. So like the next wave of L2s is coming, and it will be much bigger than all the previous ones. So the first wave were the first iterations of general purpose L2s, so Arbitrum, OP, and so on. Now everybody can fork one of the L2 stacks or use the aforementioned rollup as a service providers. And soon we'll have like a lot of new cool approaches with those alternative VMs, based rollups like Tycho, Rise, or Puffer, privacy-focused L2s like Aztec or Aleph Zero, and a lot of app chains like, like Zora Zora is an active one right now, so but like there will be like many others. Just basically we'll have a chain with only one app on it. So like there are a couple of problems for them. So number one is of course liquidity. So you either need to have a shared liquidity that, like for example, Polygon AgLayer, ZK Sync, Elastic Chain wants to do. So one contract that holds all of the asset for all of those L2s at the same time. You can use like stuff like Layer 0 or Hyperlane or a wormhole that basically introduces some more trust assumptions to your tokens, unfortunately. Yeah, but you can like very easily bridge it across different chains. Or maybe somebody will soon build something much cooler as a public good. We'll see. So the problem number two is developers. So there are like not that many EVM developers out there. So by Electric Capital Developer Report, we can see this is like around like not even 3,000. But at the same time, there's like a lot of those devs actually move to the L2s themselves, and those new ones, like for example Fuel, Starknet, Movement, Eclipse that uses SVM, or Aztec, they all have their own different alt VMs, and they are basically getting the devs from like other places. They don't want to cannibalize on the devs that we already have for EVM, and that way they can basically do a lot more cool things with their tech. Yeah, so like the main cost for those solutions is basically to pay to store the data, as I mentioned, somewhere. So you, like maybe a year ago it was still a problem. Now it's super easy because we got like in a span of a couple of months we got Celestia and Blobs, and then of course Avail launch and EigenDA, for example, launch. So there's like a lot to choose from. You need to pay for the infra, but like if you will choose Rollup as a service provider, you just pay a monthly fee to them. So like around like couple $1,000, and they will run the infra for you by basically their team. And of course, you need to like kind of incentivize building on your chain. So you need to do some grants program, which is like probably a lot harder to execute than like many people actually think. So you have stuff like Optimus Retro PGF, Arbitrum STIP are good examples. But if you will incentivize everything, nothing is incentivized anymore. This is kind of a paradox. That is also like a problem to all of those teams, because many teams are actually farming those grants and not staying on the chain for the long run. Yeah, so as you can see, we have so many choices, and the question arises, which tech should we actually use as users and developers? So in theory, there should be a neutral grant where all of this knowledge is gathered in a single, easy to understand way. And this is basically L2BEAT.com. So like this is the two of our most known frameworks for the risks and decentralization of those L2 solutions. So risks are showing you the 5 ways how can you lose your money. So for example, exit window tells you that if they want to do a malicious upgrade, how much time do you have to escape with your funds? And stages show you how decentralized those solutions really are. So like stage 0 is completely centralized chain, and stage 2 is like fully immutable chain. Yeah, so like if everybody wants to visit the website, I will leave the QR code for a couple of seconds. If you will go there, you'll basically see all of the frameworks that I already mentioned and all of the projects as well. And you are able to get all of the data about them, like TV layer, activity, finality, liveness, basically the data that you will not find anywhere else. And also we spend a lot of time to make sure that this data is very high quality. It's not like random, another random dashboard. Around here, we actually write articles, papers, and we talk with all of the researchers from EF, even Vitalik himself. And that's how we actually know how to count that stuff in the correct way. So this is basically our risk rosette, the most important framework in my opinion. So basically there is sequencer failure, state validation, DA, and exit window and proposal failure. And as a users, I would strongly advise you to actually learn a bit more before you will jump into another new fresh L2 to get an airdrop. We don't have time to go through all of them, but basically, for example, for DA, we are making sure that we are basically checking everything by ourselves, and we are making sure that the L2 ensures that there is like all information needed to check the system is accessible to everyone, right? Or this like aforementioned exit window. So basically making sure you have time to escape after the malicious upgrade. So should everyone launch their own L2? So like there were like cases already by PGN, for example, when they have like a lot of problems and they actually had to shut down the network and people were unable to withdraw the money. So like the question is, if you will build it, it's so easy if you are actually able to retain the users to get like those fees to actually get the chain going for a bit longer than like 2 weeks. So what future holds? So we are in the very wild transition phase. We are scaling like crazy. There is new L2 every single day, but we don't fill all of this block space. So for example, blobs are Ethereum are still waiting for price discovery, in my opinion. Interoperability is leaving the infant stage. So basically all of those systems like Layer 0, Warhol, and Hyperlane only recently got a lot of traction. And also like all of these cross stack liquidity is also just starting. So for example, for ZK Sync Elastic Chain, you only have 2 projects, ZK Sync Era and Kronos right now. So not a lot, but hopefully it will be more soon. Yeah, so thank you very much. I hope I was not too quick because I only had 15 minutes. But if you have like any more questions about the L2s or how that exactly works, be sure to catch me. I will be running around here in the conference for another couple of hours at least. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Hubert. If you want to catch Hubert later, he's also a judge on the hackathon going on next door. So we'll be announcing the results of that at 4 p.m., I believe. So